Welcome to No Boxes, Just Verses, the podcast where we go beyond the bios, beyond the titles, and explore the lessons that shapes today's most inspiring voices and leaders. Each week, we build a playlist of a leader's life. 5 songs, 5 lessons, 1 unforgettable conversation.
Let's put the pedal to the metal, let the top lean back. I don't know where we're going, I don't know what we're running to. I'm checking for you, how you feel about that. I think it's time we rendezvous.
Today, I am so honored to welcome to our podcast, Leah Pump and Dana Pump. Let me give you a little bit about the background of this powerhouse couple. Leah Pump is the president and CEO of the Ladylike Foundation, a faith-based nonprofit that she founded in 2007 to empower and mentor young women in under-resourced communities across Los Angeles. She has a background as an educator, having taught and served as a principal, and she's guided more than 12 years of programming for girls ages 12 to 18 and awarded over $100,000 in scholarships. She holds a BA in sociology from Berkeley and a master's from Pepperdine. And one of the things I really like, and we'll get into this about her Ladylike Foundation, is that she's really helping to further the education of these girls. They've been to prestigious universities such as Harvard, Stanford, her alma mater, Berkeley, UCLA, and Howard. The list goes on and on. And then there is Dana. Dana is the co-founder, along with his identical twin brother, of the Harold and Carol Pump Foundation, where he currently serves as president and CEO. But you got to understand a little bit about the journey of the Pump brothers. You see, they began this journey with their first youth basketball camp at the age of 16 in Northridge, California. Since 1999, their foundation has raised millions of dollars for cancer care, women's health initiatives, and honoring the late lives of their parents. They are also the owners and founded a company called Double Pump Inc., which is a global sports and entertainment agency hosting things like elite AAU teams. They started this in 1987, and more than 20,000 student athletes have completed their basketball camps, clinics, and tournaments. Over 1,000 of these students have earned Division I college scholarships and Division II and Division III levels as well. And even more impressive, over 100 players who have been part of the Double Pump basketball camps and programs have played in the National Basketball Association. That means they've made it to the big leagues, and a lot of them started with Dana. And if you've ever been around Dana, I've been very fortunate to be around him. Let me just tell you, everybody in the room knows who Dana is. They just do. He's just one of those people. It is such an honor to have this powerhouse couple on No Boxes, Just Verses. Leah, first of all, welcome to the podcast. I can't wait to get into what motivates you and how you're changing these lives.
Thank you so much for allowing us to be here. I'm excited as well. Thank you so much.
Of course. Dana, welcome to you as well.
Thank you guys so much for having me.
Of course, of course. I want to start in the beginning for both of you. And Leah, I'm going to start with you. Explain to us kind of where you grew up, what motivated you as a young girl, your journey. And of course, this is called No Boxes, Just Verses. What song most reminds you of your kind of childhood/adolescence?
I grew up in Los Angeles, California. I'm a native, which is very rare. My mom is a native as well. My grandparents are from Texas, East Texas, Palestine, and Crockett, little towns that they're from very humble beginnings and migrated here during the Great Migration during the 40s. So I was raised in a very conservative African-American home where almost every single person in my family, even my grandparents' siblings, are educators, and their way out of poverty. And so from a young age, it wasn't about if you're going to college, it's where are you going to college or what college do you dream to go to one day? And so that's the type, and very religious. So, and when I say religious, I mean like literally I went to church every single week, and my brother and I were entrenched in our church. Mount Zion Missionary Baptist Church, where the late Dr. Evie Hill was our pastor. So my grandmother was over the Sunday school. She was the minister of instruction, director of instruction. My parents they taught Sunday school every Sunday. So going to church wasn't even a question. We went to church. And not only that, we went to choir rehearsal. Not only that, we went to Bible study. I was the president of the children's choir, president of the youth choir, president of the youth and young adults. I did all of it, every single thing with joy because it was fun. It was a community. But then I went to Brentwood Science Magnet. My mom was a teacher and she was a director of the Highly Gifted at Brentwood Science Magnet. So, it was huge for an African American woman. So we went to all the best schools, public schools, public at the time. And then I went to Berkeley. But when I think about a song, my parents were very strict and didn't give much room for error. My dad was from Chicago and he came from really humble beginnings. His dad only went to the 3rd grade. His mom was a homemaker. It was 5 boys and one of them had polio. So all the attention was to the sick child, of course, which is natural, right? Because he's the one that has the most needs. So, very humble beginnings. So my dad was very strict on us. Like his parents couldn't be there for him. So he wanted to be there for us. And it was almost overbearing where every time we looked up, he was there. So like we couldn't act up. We couldn't hang out. We couldn't ditch school or do anything because we didn't know when he was coming up. He was a pop-up dad. He was an actor and a professor at Cal State Dominguez Hills. So his schedule was he can move things around so he could be there for us. And so therefore we grew up in a very strict, very, very strict. I mean, I couldn't talk to boys on the phone until I was 13. I couldn't go out on a date by myself or have company until I was 16. Makeup, all the nail polish. I mean, just everything was very, very strict for my dad. Now, my mom, no. My grandparents, no. They were more progressive. I love music. I love to sing. We would sing going to school every single day. But I would say that the theme song of our favorite song, my dad and my favorite song was James Taylor, Whenever I See Your Smiling Face. So every time I hear that song, it just brings back going to preschool and going to Pizza Man or Pizza Hut on Fridays or going to anywhere, going down alleys where there was bumpy roads and we called it the Rockies. My dad would say, we're going through the Rockies, and put the song on. So yes, that's my childhood theme song, Whenever I See Your Smiling Face.
It sounds like you had the lessons that I'm taking from all of that you're saying is you grew up in not only a very supportive environment, you had community. You had a lot of community around you. And so it doesn't surprise me that you created that community. We'll get into it for so many other young ladies, but you grew up with understanding that lesson of how important community is for your success. And that's what I'm weaving from your childhood.
And that you're going to be successful because we worked too hard.
Right.
We've invested too much. So you are not going to fail. That is not happening. Yes.
Because you had community around you. And there's so many studies and books out there that have shown that people who have that community, they basically have a safety net. It's hard to fail because when you fail, your safety net is right there to help you achieve. And they also, at a young age, inspire you to achieve because, that's what you see. Dana, I think, so wait a minute, you both grew up in SoCal, like you're both natives.
We actually were born down the street from each other. I was born on Orange Drive in Melrose, over in West LA, sort of by Hollywood, like Hollywood adjacent in between Beverly Hills and Hollywood, because my dad was an actor, so he had to get to all his auditions. And then Dana was born on Melrose and Orange Grove, which is literally like 5 to 7 blocks apart. Crazy.
That's crazy. Well, tell us the story, Dana.
So I was raised in not a strict home, but I couldn't play till I did my homework. My mom raised us. My dad worked every day, worked hard. I was a triplet at birth. My parents didn't think they could have kids, so they adopted a boy and a girl. That didn't work out great. But I am who I am is because my mom and my dad, they taught us life skills. They taught us to help others. And I wouldn't change anything the way I was raised. We couldn't play till we did our homework. She cooked dinner every single night. And I always tell people it's how you're raised. And I'm 58. I still think about my mom and dad all the time, the values they gave us.
If you had to go back and think about the music and just the fabric of that type of upbringing, what most reminds you of growing up with your mom and dad?
I loved the Carpenters as a young kid. I love Karen Carpenter. I love like Kenny Loggins. I told you this is it. I love Wake Up in the Morning by Harold
He
Melvin.
only knew that because of my dad's funeral. So don't let him say that he knew that before.
No, but I definitely have an old soul, and it's hard to say which one, but I definitely liked, older music.
He loves sports. So anything related to sports, take me out to the ball game. Things like
One
that.
shining moment,
One
I tell you,
shining moment. The Final Four song of the champion.
I told that early on.
That's what he walked down the aisle to. That's how much he loves sports.
Yeah, I did.
Don't let him fool you. He loves sports.
Where did this start? Like at what age, like, did you realize, like, especially basketball for you, that you were like, this is my passion? Like basketball, I wake up and I dream about this.
It's so funny. We are 100% self-made. We didn't work for Coach K or Roy Williams. We are self-made. Me and David always been entrepreneurs. We've always, I don't know if the word hustle, but I'll tell you one thing. My children, Dana, Cassie, in a year are going to have Pump Lemonade stand. We did that. And they're going to raise $10,000 for a charity the first day. We used to sell lemonade.
Well, first of all, his dad was an entrepreneur as well. He was in the steel business. So they moved to San Fernando Valleys because he had a steel business where people from all over would come to get steel from him. Steel is very, with the trucks and big rigs and all things buildings, you need steel, right? So his dad was in that business. Every weekend, he would bring Dana and David to the business to learn the business. Dana's father has implemented this business sense into his boys very, very early and how to work hard, right? Wearing the coveralls and not letting anybody do things for you. You need to know your business. You need to do all aspects of your business. So from an early age, he was taught this, right? Second of all, I think what's very, very important is that his parents, and I love it because, that's the difference between cultures, right? Mine was education. That was your way out. With Dana and David, their parents taught them business, right? Even though his mother was a homemaker, she still supported everything that his dad, she did the bookkeeping for the business. She wrote the checks for the business, right? Business partnerships. So even early, he did baseball cards. He would collect baseball cards and he learned early at an early age, under 10, how to trade and make money off of baseball cards. So his love for business and for sports started early, but definitely influenced by his parents. His dad also taught him, sons, you're not going to be in the NBA. You're not tall enough. I love your passion for it. I love your drive. You practice on your own. They're very self-driven, right? Going outside and practicing on their own. But their parents taught them this. You may not make it to the NBA, whatever, right? You may not be the player, but the mindset is own the team. Let's be the business mind behind it. So when you put things into your children's head like that, that's, right. You know what I mean? You can have a passion for sports and you may not be as good enough to play it, but you can always be a part of it because you can be a part of the business part.
What an amazing lesson to get as a kid and you don't even know you're getting it. Is like you said, that story of entrepreneurship, ownership. You've heard many athletes talk about, I want to attribute this to LeBron James, but several have said that, which is it's great to be the talent, it's great to be the face, but there's somebody paying me. Ultimately, there's somebody paying me. So
no question.
It's actually great to be that person. So many nuggets that were dropped in there. I think we can expand upon them because those themes play out through different parts of both of your lives. So kind of now you've both gotten this amazing foundation. And again, you both have community, you both have support. And now you're moving into your young adulthood where you're starting jobs, you're starting companies. Help me understand that part of your journey and how important and critical that is to where you guys kind of are today, this kind of next phase of your young adult life.
So David and I started our basketball camps at a young age, and we always had a passion for basketball. And I remember how everything we did would open up doors, how I created a relationship with Denzel. His son played in my AAU team. So many big CEOs' kids would play on my pump and run team. So I've always used our motto is about relationships. I just think we really didn't know what we were doing in the beginning, but we knew we had a love for basketball, running basketball camps, and then we started exposure camps and junior college camps, and at one time we had real influence because we had a search firm where I convinced the former president of the NCAA, let's do searches. Now everyone's in the search business. And I remember the first search I had was Tennessee, and they flew me on a private plane at Knoxville. I'm in my late 20s. And then you got to remember the word on the street where the Pump brothers had all this influence. And then we controlled all the Final Four tickets, and we made a lot of money. So at one time we had, they rated us like the sixth most powerful guys in sports. And then we worked for Adidas, and we were giving the money out for shoe deals and sponsorship. And we had a great run.
But when he was 16, tell him about the LA Gear.
Oh, so we were with LA Gear. They gave us $600,000 in cash
At 16.
for grassroots basketball so we can legitimize the brand.
Early 80s, somebody gave you $600,000.
Yeah.
Is that crazy?
Yeah. It was a 4-year deal. I actually have the signing bonus. I think in the other room, my mom says they're going to give you a $45,000 signing bonus when hair grows on my
No, it's
pump.
$200,000. And he signs the check. He makes a photocopy because his mother was no joke, right? She's I gotta see results. If you want to do this thing, let me see how it benefits. He photocopies it, and on the top he says, "The first of many."
You know what else, Shannon? Like when I meet people for like my charity and stuff, I always show them like things. Like I told you, we have a board fund, and we're over 4 million now. My goal was to have $5 million year 25. So there's a real legacy for the rest of our children's life to do good. And it's one thing, like Shannon, you and your husband meet a lot of people, and people say things. All I have is my word and my integrity. So in back of my mind, when I tell people things, I always follow through. And I think that's what separates David and Dana and Leah. We do what we say we're going to do.
Yeah. Well, it goes back to those relationships, and then people know they can rely on your word. I mean, that's a valuable lesson. And I think you both had people in your lives that showed that to you as well. And then it just became innate and part of who your DNA. I want to go back to this early 80s thing because I just did the math for y'all. That the finance person in me does math very quickly. So I just took a second to do some math while you were talking. $600,000 in, let's say, 82 is like $2 million today. I cannot imagine anybody giving my 17-year-old son $2 million today. I just want y'all to know that.
I'll never forget my friend Ramon was in the car. Back then there was we got a check. We ran home to show my mama and daddy, and we bought a condominium, me and my brother. We're twins. So we bought a condo to start off, and we got a Trans Am.
You bought that yourself?
Yeah. And we had,
That's funny.
but life, nothing is easy. Perception, everyone thinks like
Comes overnight.
no, but Dave and I have been grinders, and one block, another block, and we kept building. So like now, I'm going to move forward. I have so many people calling me. We're sold out with individual tickets. I don't want those individual people. I'm going to be sold out next Friday.
But the thing about it is when he says stuff like that, it's a bit insensitive to me because you say you're going to be sold out. I don't need those little tickets. Some people are saving all year to get those little tickets. So you can't discount those people. You just don't have room. You have to teach people, if you want to get the tickets, you have to come earlier or buy them earlier.
I agree.
Instead of,
I agree.
I don't need those little tickets. See, because we have different perspectives when it comes to things of that sort. I think that's what makes us a great partnership because I make him understand you can't say that to anybody. That's rude.
You come from different perspectives, and I think you are each other's yin and yang. And I think that that's what makes you guys a really successful couple, like together.
Yes.
It makes you guys, because you can really balance each other in that way. But I am not the first, nor will I be the last person to say Dana is one lucky dude. And as Dana said, he's outkicked his coverage.
Listen, but let me tell you something. So my dad was very outspoken. He's very loud. You heard him before you saw him. So when they meet Dana, of course, because, Dana's not Black. So, of course, they had to get used to it. But Dana has a lot of confidence. And he used to tell my grandmother, my grandmother was not even feet tall. My best friend in life. We were two peas in a pod. I don't know. Living life without her is very difficult because I miss her extremely. I miss her so much. And she's the one that liked Dana first. So she's the one, a part of the team to convince me to do this thing. And so Dana would always come into my grandma and say, Leah came up, huh? Leah came up. And my grandma said, you came up. And would walk away. And she would come around the corner and be like, I don't like when he tells me that. I don't tell him to stop telling me that because he came up. Okay. He needs to recognize he came up. You didn't come up. You've been up. You've been up.
I love that. I love that. Well, I mean, this is a perfect segue to going into, I want to understand the backstory of how you met and your romance became one, and what is that song, of course, that most reminds you guys of that stage in your life, Young Love. How did that happen?
It wasn't young love. I had been married before. And I think you have bad experiences in order to appreciate good experiences, right? Like my pastor says, Dr. R. Williams always says that God never wastes time. Said that no matter what you're going through or no matter what is happening in your life, God never wastes time. It's for a purpose. It's for a reason. And so being married early, like I told you, I came from a very strict background. I believe it's why I married early. I wanted to get out of the house because every move was like monitored, calculated, and even when going off to college, I wanted to be on my own, because I felt like I could spread my wings and do some things that I wanted to do. Because my dad really lived vicariously through us. I mean, he was our coach. Literally, it was a bit overbearing. So I got married early, literally. And I married somebody that was way older than me, like a dad. So I went from one controlled situation to another controlled situation. Because that's all I know. And so it was very devastating. It was very bad. It was a very traumatic experience. I wrote a book about it. It's called 7. So you can get it on Amazon. And I detail my experience. And so I dated him for 5 years during college. He promised me that he was going to marry me. So I rushed college. I graduated from Berkeley in 3 years in order for him to marry me. And he didn't. He knew that I was inexperienced and naive. And he preyed on that. But the sad thing about it is when when you're older and you date somebody younger, you forget that they're growing up in the process. And so as I grew up, I decided that this is not what I want. I can't live like this. I can't live with someone who isolated me from my family and all my friends and tried to control everything that I heard and did not own up to me, even when we were married. So a lot of things trigger me, especially now dealing with teenagers. It's a trigger for me when a man doesn't say that he's with you on social media. It's a trigger because it's not owning up to you. It's not saying that he's with you. And I lived that. So going through bad experiences, I had to unlearn a lot of things. And so when I came back home, there was a 7-year period of me unlearning everything that I learned in the marriage and in the relationship that was terrible, which was debilitating and literally reduced me down to nothing. So in 7 years, the Lord built me back up, right? He gave me purpose. He gave me meaning. I came back with nothing, no money, no job, no credit. He had taken everything. I literally had to, from the ground up, build back up. And so in the book, I detailed that process. And in that process, I had a coach. And I believe that every person needs a coach. They need a therapist, a guide to help them, to tell the hard truths of what worked and what did not work, what is and what is not, who you are and who you are not. And that was my pastor. And so I joined this church, McCoy Memorial Baptist Church, off of Avalon and 46, where Dr. R.A. Williams is my pastor. And he hired me as his personal assistant. So every single day I have this therapist, right? I have this person who is listening, who is guiding, who say, no, that's not it. You need to do this. Or, yes, you're going down the road, but watch for this. And so for 7 years, I dated different people. I dated celebrities. I dated musicians. I dated different people. But I also became almost a hermit because I was a teacher and I got my master's and I literally built myself up, got an apartment and owned a home. My grandmother helped me buy a duplex. So I literally built myself back up, right? But I became like a little hermit though, because you're so afraid. You've been hurt so bad. So yes, you date and you do this, but I'm still like at home on Friday nights. I'm wearing a bun and a cardigan and, I'm really diving into this teacher thing and I'm good at it. And I love my students. And then I developed the Ladylike Foundation because I have an epiphany that what I went through is to help other young ladies, to bless them and to make sure that they don't make the same mistakes that I made. And I'm also in the realm of education where, because I've seen for years my grandparents give scholarships to African American youth in the inner city my whole entire life. And being a part of a group of administrators that get together every May to have a luncheon to raise money for these youth who go to Stanford and Harvard and Princeton and Oxford abroad. And so I'm seeing this. So that dissolves because the president passes away. And so I kind of take the torch. And so my grandmother and I developed the Ladylike Foundation, in which every May, June, we have luncheons raising money for scholarships and for the program. We have girl talks where we're talking about things that not everyone wants to talk about, from mental abuse, physical abuse, STDs, to relationships with parents, relationships with overbearing parents, to friendships, to drugs, to mental illness, to health and wellness. I'm taking them to Beverly Hills and Rodeo Drive, where they may live in the city, but they've never even gone to Beverly Hills before, having teas at the Montage. So I'm doing all of these things during these 7 years. One day I get a phone call from one of my friends at church, and she says, "We're going to the Firefly tonight, and Leah, you're so cute." And I'm thinking like, no, I'm not. You're so cute. You should come out with us. We're going to have fun, hang out at this. I'm like, Firefly sounds like a club. Don't want to go. She's like, no, it's my pastor. I have my laptop here, and my pastor's on the other side of his big desk. And he's looking at me on the phone. He's like, go, go, go. And I'm like, I don't want to go. I don't like clubs. I just want to do the sermon, because I would type every single sermon he ever made. We wrote 2 books together. And I just want to type the sermon, get ready for Sunday, and I'm good. I don't need to go to a club. Sounds ratchet. I don't want to do that. That's self-righteous phase. And so my pastor, I get off the phone like, "Thank you so much for inviting me, but I'll pass this time." She's like, "Okay, well, call me if you change your mind." So I get off the phone. My pastor's on the other side saying, "Leah, why'd you tell her no?" I said, "Because I don't want to go to a club." He says, "You have no life, okay? You are boring. Nobody wants to be in a relationship with you because you're boring. Look at you. You need to get dressed, put some makeup on. Stop coming on me and my wife's dates," because I would like tag along. They would go to the movies I'd jump in with them. They go to Mastro's and, all the things. I'd jump on. He's like, "You're not coming with us. Okay. So I'm going with my wife by myself. You are going with her." I'm like, "But I don't want it." "You're going. You're going. Change your clothes. Put some lipstick on. You need to go." So I'm like, "Okay," because he's my coach, right? So like, let me just do it. So I go to the Firefly. Now my friend tells me, she says, "When you get to the line outside, make sure you say that you're with Dana Pump." I said, "That is the weirdest name I've ever heard in my life. Dana Pump. Like, who has a name? That's weird. Is he a guy?" She's like, "He's a guy. His name is Dana." "Yes." I'm like, okay. So I put on my LA outfit, my leather coat with my jeans and my boots, my knee-high boots. And I go to this club. My hair is in a bun because I work out 5 days a week, right? My hair is in a bun with pro style, okay? On the edges. It's very slick. Part on the side and swooped, all the things. The late 2000s, like 2009, I would say. And so I go to the line, and it's a long line. I mean, this line is like almost wrapped around. I'm like, not going. So I literally turn away and walk back to valet. The bouncer at the front of the door says, excuse me, "Are you looking for somebody?" And I'm saying, like, I thought I had an escape, right? I was like, "Dana Pump?" He goes, "Come this way." And
It is what it is.
I'm like, whoever this Dana Pump is, he has juice. So I bypassed the entire line. I'm like, this is wow. I go inside and he proceeds to walk me, like escort me to where Dana is. So it's very dark. It's very crowded. And then we get to this table with these A-list celebrities and A-list athletes. I'm like, mm-mm. So I said, excuse me, this must be the wrong table. My girlfriend is at the other end of the table because everything that Dana and David do, it's like a dinner party and it's long. So it's like business on one side, recreation on the other, right? So she's at the end of the table and she's like, hey, girl, this is my table. I'm like, I'm starstruck. I'm not talking though. I walk down and I sit next to her and she's sitting next to this redhead, freckled, slightly overweight.
Huh? What you talking about? Hi, yellow. What you talking about?
He said hi, yellow. Lightly overweight
Huh?
guy. And she goes, hey, sit down, make yourself at home, get the menu. I am a teacher. For real. I make $35,000 a year. Every penny counts. Like, I am not trying to eat what these people are eating. They're drinking wine, and clams, and lobster. I'm looking at like, where is the chicken? Where is the chicken and the appetizers? I'm like, who's paying for this? She goes, don't worry. Just eat what you want. I'm like, okay. While I'm saying this, here's this guy that's sitting on the other side of my friend saying, so what do you do? I'm like, I'm a teacher. What grade? 3rd grade. What school did you go to? College did you graduate? Went to Berkeley. You must be really smart. Because I'm like, why does everybody say that every time? But I just proceed to eat and just ignore him. So it becomes 11 o'clock. I'm having a good time. I'm being nosy. I'm people watching. I'm looking around. It's very stimulating environment. And I say, okay, this was such a lovely event. Thank you for inviting me. I have to go to church in the morning. He hears me, goes, church. And I'm like, yeah, I have to go to church. Thank you so much. This is very nice. And I walk to my car and I go home. 2 weeks later, my girlfriend, same girlfriend, calls me and says, we're going to a club this time in Hollywood. I'm like, well, who's going to be there? She's like, don't worry about it. You always look cute. This time I stopped at the Box Hills Mall and got an outfit to go out of, because all these celebrities, I got to come correct. This time, it was only him. Only him.
What? What do you mean only him? He was the only
There
one
was
there?
he was the only one there for our party. Yes. He was by himself. I'm looking around like, this is she goes, Leah, he really likes you. I said, who? Now, before she tells me this, it's him. And he's like, I know all about you. I've Googled you. And I'm just like, what? It's like, you have the Ladylike Foundation. That's very nice. It's very philanthropic. I'm philanthropic too. I have a cancer foundation and I have partnerships with Adidas. I have AAU basketball teams. I have this and that and this. And, we would be a really good team. We would be a very good team. And I would help you. And I'm looking at him like, huh? I know you're very religious. I'm Jewish, but that doesn't mean anything to me. It still can work. I haven't said a word. I haven't said anything. He goes, and I know who you used to date. This celebrity, I know you used to date him, but McDonald's never worries about Burger King. Coke never worries about Pepsi, So this would really work. And I'm looking at him like, I haven't said a word. I haven't said one word. My girlfriend comes and she goes, he really likes you. Oh my gosh. He told me to bring you here tonight because he really wants to get to know you. And he's super successful, super connected. It would be great. You struggle so hard with Ladylike, which I have because I was $35,000 making this foundation. I have no money. I have no resources, no connections, no nothing. I'm literally doing this all by myself with my grandmother. This is perfect for you. You need to get with him. You need to talk to him. This is perfect. Let's do this. I said, nope. I looked over at him. He had a corduroy sports coat on that was faded. He had on some mom's jeans that were flooding. He had on some Ferragamo thick-soled loafers that were so worn that they were already flipped up at the toes. He had messy hair. I was like, he is a mess. I said, absolutely not. So why? Why? He's so cool. He has the best parties. I said, I don't care what he has and who he knows. No, absolutely not. Well, for some reason, he's over at the bar drinking Fiji water. He doesn't drink at all. And he thinks I say yes. He bum rushes. He's watching everything from the corner of his eye. He bum rushes over. He takes my phone out of my hands. He calls himself. He said, "Oh, I have your number now." I still haven't said anything. I haven't said nothing. He's like, "Oh," and he's holding my hand. He's hugging me all night. I'm looking like, this is bad. This is really, really bad. So I'll call you when you get home. I'll call you on the way home, okay? It's like, who calls you on the way home? When he calls me, he goes, all I want to do is get married, have some kids. I take my mom out to dinner every Sunday. I still haven't said anything. I haven't said anything, like nothing. Like, I'm like, okay, I'll call you tomorrow morning to wake you up, okay?
Wow.
Okay.
I got it done.
So, Dana, how much of this story do you agree with?
A lot. I only know one way. 100%.
A little stocky. So, obviously, it started working for you. You started
No.
the barrier started. Oh, it wasn't working.
No. Mm-mm. I literally told my girlfriend, like, tell him to stop calling me. Like, it's a bit much. I'm Christian. And like, listen, I'm a pastor's assistant. Like, I love the Lord. I'm not converting at all. Like, this is not going to work. He doesn't go to church. He doesn't know anything about the Lord. So there's no way we can work. It's not going to work. Right. So just tell him he's such a nice guy. I don't believe in leading people on. I don't use people. My parents taught me that. I work hard for everything that I have. So just tell him it's okay. He doesn't have to call me anymore. It's not going to work out. And he stops calling me. So the day that he stopped calling me, I don't think he knows this, but I had this feeling in my spirit that I let the Lord down. It was a feeling like there's something that I should not have done that, right? But I was ignoring it. Like I was just pressing it down. Well, here we are again. I'm at my pastor's desk. I'm on this side. He's on that. My pastor's on that side. He goes, "Hey, what happened to Dana?" And I said, "Nothing. Nothing happened." He's like, no, what happened to Dana? I was like, it's just not going to work out. I told, my friend, I told her just to tell him to stop calling me. I didn't, I felt it was just not, he's Jewish, I'm Christian, and I'm not feeling him that much. He's just not my type. He's like, not your type. Let's talk about your type. I was like, like, no. Let's talk about your type. He said, so your type was a womanizer. You were married to a womanizer. You were married to a manipulator and a predator who treated you like SHIT, the scum on the bottom of his shoe, but you loved him and that's your type. You date a musician who has a baby mama, 2 kids, and live with his grandmother, ain't got nothing. That's your type. Then you start dating this rapper. You think you're in a monogamous relationship and he's feeling you feeling him. He never, ever, ever claims you as his girlfriend. And then on a gossip site, you find out he's dating a tennis player. But that's your type. And then you start dating this man who has a roommate in West Hollywood. And you think it's going somewhere when I'm telling you he doesn't like your type. But that's your type. So now I'm like frustrated. I'm like, because he's down my street. Like he's calling me out. And I'm like, hey, he's just not my type. Is it because he's white? No, it's not because he's white. I've been around. Well, what is it? I said, he's just not, I don't like him. He says, well, he's God's type. I said, what do you mean God's type? He said, Leah, let me tell you something. You want God to bless you in this little bitty box that you've designed for yourself when God is trying to bless you outside of your box. I think this is your blessing and I think you messed it up. So guess what? We're not working today. You're going home. You are going to pray and ask the Lord for forgiveness because anytime the Lord sends you something and you rejected that sin, go home, tell the Lord you're sorry and call Dana. I said, okay. It like hit me in my chest like a ton of bricks. I go home. I call Dana. He picks up. He says, who is this? I said, hey, it's Leah. It's such and such friend. He goes, let me call you back and hangs up in my face. Now, Dana is a business person. He's very crude. He's very business. So when we dated for those months, he was like, be here at 7, wear this. I was like, listen, I'd be intentionally late. And I'd wear something else. Like, no, you're not controlling what I do or when I come. You're not the boss of me, right? I've been there, done that. We're not doing that. So he's saying, I'll call you back. I was like, Lord, this is why I don't like him. This is why I don't like him. And so he texts me and he goes, why are you calling me now? And then I say, because I didn't give us a fair chance. And after that, the rest is history.
And Dana, just hearing from kind of, you're married now, you've built this union, and really just kind of where you guys are today. You know, there's so many lessons in all of the things that you guys went through, but where are you today reflecting on your lives, your successes, your failures?
I think back, like, I would have gave up on children. Leah didn't give up. We did in vitro during COVID.
10 years. We did in vitro for 10 years.
And we needed,
help.
You need help financially during COVID. Nothing's going on. And to have two beautiful, healthy kids, I made a deal with God. You give me healthy kids, whatever else happens, I'm fine with. I go to their preschool like Leah's dad every day. I pop in. And I got them all bribed on Dodger tickets. They're sending me videos and pictures. I know exactly what's going on with my babies. And I've never been more fired up, passionate to do what I'm doing now. I use my passion. I want Leah to shine and Leah to be successful. I know what I stand on. I know about my core values, and we're doing big things. And I'm so proud of my brother, myself, and Leah.
And he's turned a tragedy into triumph. 25 years of how much money you've raised already?
Oh, over 15 million.
$15 million.
Given away.
3 wings named after us, the Carol Pump Women's Center, the Harold and Carol Pump Oncology Department, and now the Radiology Department. And then for our children, we definitely want to think of another wing for me and the children so that our legacy is an imprint of us on Roscoe. So every time our kids go down Roscoe in the Valley, they see their name on these buildings.
Then Leah wanted a building. So, it's like anyone that has a dream, and we made that dream come to reality. And that's why I work so hard. And I asked so many people for favors, and
So 16 years, no, but they didn't favor. 16 years, 17 years of doing Ladylike. We've been doing this since 2007.
Yeah.
My dream, we've been renting places out all these times. I have all of our sessions, classes. We go to UCLA every December to have a big UCLA day. But my dream was to have one building where everything can take place. Yes, go to UCLA and all those things, right? But one building, one headquarters where everything can take place. And this year, the Lord blessed us with a 5,200 square feet building on Crenshaw and 48th that we own. So that's another legacy that our kids can have. But yeah, so our children, our businesses, we are partners in this thing. He's the mastermind behind business and raising money. He has a gift. The Lord has blessed him with a gift to raise money. He can get money out of anybody. Even people that don't have money give to him. He has a gift. I mean, he's joined my church. He accepted the Lord to be his savior. That was one of the stipulations for me to marry him. He did that on his own. The Lord just did that, changed his heart. He comes to church with me every Sunday. So that thing that I thought was the thing that divided us actually brought us together. We pray every morning and every night, no matter where we are in the world. And our children pray too. And I've just learned that even though we're a mixed race, I'm definitely unapologetically Black. And I never can change who I am or where I come from. And he loves that. And that's it. That's the pump. Pump it up.
That's the pump it up. I mean, so a couple of things. There's so many lessons and nuggets in all of the things that you've said. You both have these strong foundations that you grew up in communities. You both actually, Dana said it in the beginning, you both learned how to hustle in different ways and to grind. You both have had setbacks. You both believed in a higher faith that eventually got you through all of that. And you listened to that higher faith. You have come together to build this legacy that's rooted in true partnership and rooted also in having an innate ability to want to help others. The relationships that you guys have are not transactional. I can personally attest to the fact that you guys are not transactional people. There's so many people, especially in Hollywood, it's like you do for me, I do for you, because it's just a transaction. You guys do with no expectation of return. If the return happens, that's fine. You just do because that's just who you are. You're just good people. And I think so many people can get a lot of lessons out of just believing in yourself, understanding you're going to go through some valleys and some peaks, but believing in a higher power and really trying to find that life partner. It could be your spouse. It could be your best friend. It could be your coach, as you said. But having that true partnership, I think, is a huge lesson that our listeners have been blessed to hear from you guys. So look, I could talk to y'all all day. I know we got to wrap it up. I will tell you the playlist that I have for you guys. There's many songs. There's one that I need you to talk about it. And I need you to talk about like how you resonate and are happy today. But I've got the James Taylor, Whenever I See Your Smiling Face. I've got Kenny Loggins, This Is It. I've got Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes, Wake Up. I've got You're My Everything, Andy Gibb. I've got the Carpenters, Close to You, and Take Me Out for the song that each of you just smile at. At this stage in your life, you have a lot to smile about. What is that song?
I think one song that Dana wanted to put on all his reels right now, we're going to be relevant, is They Not Like Us by Kendrick Lamar. Because they are like, we are definitely different. Wait, what else? What else? What else?
I'll be right back.
Hi, listeners. I interrupt this regularly scheduled podcast to tell you that at this point of the interview, Dana had to step away to use the bathroom, we're assuming. But it seems he took a much longer bathroom break than anticipated because he never came back. Listen, we're lucky enough that we got Dana to actually sit down with us for 45 minutes straight. So for the rest of this interview, it's just me, Leah, and I holding down the fort. But don't you worry, Leah and I keep the conversation going and spicy without missing a beat. Now back to the program.
And The Best Is Yet to Come by Donna Lawrence and the Tri-City Singers is definitely mine, because that's my slogan for everything. Every email is, even on my voicemail, The Best Is Yet to Come. And for my kids, it's Mercy by Maverick City. They go to sleep to it. Every time they go to sleep or take a nap, they go to sleep to Maverick City, Mercy. Listen to it. It's the most beautiful song ever. My pastor found it. And Dana loves yacht rock, which I hate when every time I get into that car. But I know all the songs with my dad, but yes.
Yeah. I actually love me some yacht rock. I mean, give
Really?
me some Doobie Brothers. I
Doobie
actually do like
Brothers.
yacht rock.
Doobie Brothers. I mean,
Brothers.
yes.
I mean, you
Yes.
can't go wrong.
Minute
with
by
some Doobie
minute.
Brothers singing like
Minute by
That's
minute.
exactly what was playing in my head when I said Doobie Brothers. Minute by
Yes.
minute is for sure. So I definitely, I'm with Dana on that. Kind, I grew up in the 70s, so kind of grew up on me some yacht rock. But yes, I get a smile just like you guys, for sure.
Yes.
So Leah, representing for both of the pumps, can you tell us how can we support you guys, follow you guys in your various different endeavors?
You can follow us on all the socials, even TikTok, Leah_ladylike. I run the whole page from personal to business, so you can see our kids, you can see what we do in the community and with the Ladylike Foundation and with the Pumps, the Harold and Carol Pump Foundation and the Pump Group. You can also go on our websites. Dana's website is thepumpgroup.com for his pump consulting group platform that he has, business. And he also, for the Harold and Carol Pump Foundation, haroldandcarolpumpfoundation.com. For me, it is info@theladylike.com, which is the way you can contact me, or www.theladylike.com. I mean, you could see all the things, all of our events, what we do with our girls, scholarship recipients, et cetera, is on the website. And then you can just press donate. For me, I'm not like Dana. We haven't given out 15 million. We're in the hundreds of thousands. We're doing great. Definitely grassroots, definitely in the community. So I believe that every cent counts. I'm grateful for any and everything that everyone has ever given me. That gift to me to this day, I am grateful. No gift is too small. It helps us run. If it wasn't for those who support me, I couldn't do anything. So I am very grateful.
Every dollar does count. And I had the good fortune of attending your Last Lady Like Foundation event. And one of the things that was really inspiring to me was really two things, was seeing how inclusive your program is. You have girls from all walks of life, all of the abilities. I've shared, my listeners know that I have a 27-year-old son who's autistic. And you have absolutely welcomed people in your program who are neurodivergent, and you treat them like everybody else. And so for me, on a personal level, that as soon as I saw how just inclusive you were, I turned to my husband. I was like, what are we giving? Like, what are we giving? Because this is just I can tell this is who you are. And this is just what your program is. There's always a special place in my heart for people who do that. And then you had a young lady who came up there who had started your programs, one of the first, I believe she said, and she's gotten a PhD, which is
Crazy.
But that's your
Yes.
influence. Like she gave you all the flowers and you were so deserving of it. But this is like changing communities. Her getting that PhD is changing her whole community.
And she didn't even say this, but she was a foster child, and she was adopted by my pastor and his wife, her and her brother. So it's a whole journey in that. So literally changing the trajectory of her life. It's a lot of stories like that these girls, and that's why it was so important for me to get a building in the community, because that's where they are. We live in the valley, but they're not coming out here, right? They don't have the means to come. So I wanted a place where they felt that they can get there, and that is in the community. So yes, the Lord is so good, because I promise you, I never dreamt it to be this. I really didn't. I literally was doing little classes in my backyard and was good with that. You know what I mean? And meeting Dana like helped me cultivate it into what it is today. He taught me everything. That's what made me fall in love with him, but we didn't get to that part, was that he literally single-handedly helped me make my dream come to reality. So I am very grateful to God for making me do this. This is the best decision for my life. So yes.
Well, I think that comes across to everybody listening to this is again that there's a lot of times where we think we know best, and you luckily had this coach in your life who said, no, you don't know best. You need to surrender and listen to God. And that's what you did. And it changed your whole life. And look, sometimes you have to take 5 steps backwards, or in your case, 7 steps for the 7 years to get 7 steps ahead. And so that lesson I know will resonate with a lot of folks. Leah, listen, thank you so much for your time. You and Dana have an amazing story. We are rooting for you. Listeners, please follow them on their socials. Please support the various foundations that they are both running, because they are really changing communities. I want to thank you so much for joining our podcast. The playlist, just like you and Dana, it's fire and full of inspiration and light. And we really appreciate you.
Thank you so much.
And that's a wrap. Thank you so much for listening to No Boxes, Just Verses. And if this episode moved y'all, please share it, rate us, follow the show on your favorite platform, and we can keep building our leadership playlists together. So you can find me, guys, on Instagram as Shannon Nash 1 and No Boxes, Just Verses on Instagram. You can also find me on LinkedIn as Shannon Nash ESQ CPA. You can also find No Boxes, Just Verses on LinkedIn. You can visit our website at noboxesjustverses.com. Finally, don't forget to check out the show notes. The show notes are super important because this is where the playlists will live. You will be able to get these playlists on Apple and Spotify. You'll also be able to follow up and see how to reach out to the guests, follow them, and support them. Until next time, I need you to stay unboxed. You come for the stories, but you stay for the playlists. I'm Shannon Nash, and I'm out.